ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Okay. From third shloka onwards. Mama yo nirmahat brahma
मम योनिर्महत् ब्रह्म
tasmin garbham dadhamyaham
तस्मिन् गर्भं दधाम्यहम्
sambhava sarva bhutanam
सम्भव सर्वभूतानां
tato bhavati bharata
ततो भवति भारत
sarva yonishu kaunteya
सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय
मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः
मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः
तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः
तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः
अहं बीजप्रदः पिता
अहं बीजप्रदः पिता
सत्त्वं रजस्तम इति
सत्वं रजस्तम इति
गुणाः प्रकृतिसम्भवाः
गुणा प्रकृति संभवाः
निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो
निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो
देहे देहिनमव्ययम्
देहे देहिनम् अव्ययम्
तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात्
तत्र सत्वं निर्मलत्वात्
प्रकाशकमनामयम्
प्रकाशकमनामयम्
सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति
सुखसंज्ञेन बध्नाति
ज्ञानसङ्गेन चानघ
ज्ञानसंगेन चानघ
रजोरागात्मकं विद्धि
रजोरागात्मकं विद्धि
तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवम्
तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवम्
तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय
तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय
कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनम्
कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनम्
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि
तस्मत्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि
Mohanam sarvadehinam
मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां
pramaadalasya nidrabhihi
प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः
tannibadhnati bharata.
तन्निबध्नाति भारत.
Yeah. I think did I give you the translation of Shloka number 7? Rajo Ragatmikam
Yes,
Vidhi.
yes.
Yeah. So number 6, Tatra Sattvam. He started with Sattvam, then Rajas in Shloka number 7. So this is important to know because if Atma is talked about as the whole, as complete, Shastra is saying Tatitvam Asi. Krishna is saying Kshetrajnam Chapi Mam Vidhi. I am you, I am in you, and you are in me. Like that, these statements are made. If the statement has to make sense, I have to find a way. Correct? You look at it. I am a limited being right now. I may be very intelligent, but still very limited. Limited intelligence is all. There's always somebody who knows more than me. And when I go to the conference, I find, my God, there's so many intelligent people out there. And there's no, I'm an inventor. And you go, there's a conference of inventors. And you go there, and the inventor gets shocked. Shocked means what? If he ever had the idea that I am the greatest, then he's going to get shocked. That's what I mean. Generally, such people are very humble people. And they know, they come to know quickly that, I'm only accessing a small part of Ishvara. And so, if this Tattvamasi statement has to make sense, it has to strike me that all these limitations are all depending on the body and mind, but the equation does not refer to the body and mind. Correct? Because then Krishna only knows how to play the flute. Even you ask him to play guitar, and then you play guitar, I'll play. I'll do one thing. You play guitar and vocal also you do. I'll give flute accompaniment. That's what Krishna will say. Because that you guys are good at all this. Especially guitar, I think you guys are very good. That's what he will say. So those things there can't be any equality. And so we have to find a way to separate that Atma from Anatma. And at the same time, Atma and Anatma are inseparable also. That is why Shastram is needed, right? And so this Prakriti is a very important idea. And and so that Prakriti is what he's continuing to talk about in this chapter using the idea of guna. And he said earlier, Sattvam Rajas Tama iti gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha in Shloka number 5. They all belong to Prakriti. And so he talked about Sattvam and Rajas. Okay, Sattvam. Um, Wherever there is a purity of intention. When there is when a baby is smiling, then you immediately you're so no human being can resist the joy of seeing a baby smiling. Just baby is hardly 3 months old, it knows nothing. What will it smile about? Please tell me. What will it smile about? What can it smile about? Her older brother, who is in third grade, got passed first rank in class. Can it smile about that? No, it can't smile about that. You think that mother cooked something very nice, came out very well. Can it smile about that? It can't. It can't smile about any of those things. But it's still smiling. Pure intention, it's smiling. Something it likes your face. That's also good for us, It likes your face means it's good. Mutually beneficial. We like each other. And so nobody has told me you look very smart so far, so for a long time. So it looks that chemistry is just fantastic. Pure intention. So that is tattva. That intention, which is pure. That's why he says nirmalatva. Look at that. And so sattvam, rajaha, ragatmakam. We saw. So now he's talking about tamaha. Tamaha tu ajnanajam vidhi. Vidhi, may you know. Hey Arjuna, hey Bharata in this case. Last word. Hey Bharata. Tamaha ajnanajam vidhi. He's saying this tamas is something that is born of ja, means born of janma, of ajnana, born of ajnana. That means what? Only this is both atma jnanam is there for everybody. So here, even laukika ajnanam you have to bring. Only a person who is just totally ignorant about life and what we ought to do, dharma, adharma also not clear. That kind of ajnana. Dharma, adharma, viveka also is not there for this guy. That kind of ajnana. What is to be done? Hey, there are certain things that you have to do right now. Right now, you can't postpone. You can't say, let me finish my cup of tea and come. That also you can't say. This guy doesn't even know that much. Some things you have to run. Right now, you have to run. Okay. And so, not clear. No, dekhenge, kal dekhenge, kal dekhenge. So, this is all that kind of ajnana. That is called tamas. That attitude, which is born of total indifference, total ignorance of realities, that gives rise to what is called tamas, he says here. And no clarity is there. What should my children study? Should I send them to school or not? Okay, this is a big doubt for this guy. Okay. Oh, really? Is education important for us? That kind of questions this guy will have. And if at all there is a conflict, those kinds of conflicts. So clarity of thinking is not there. Time is wasted. Things are postponed. Procrastination. And so young age is lost. Youthful age when there is so much energy, so much to study, so much to do, which can't be done later. That energy and drive will be gone. And so all that time is wasted in some wasteful things. And so that kind of thing is called tamaha. Mohanam sarvadehinam. That's it. Mohanam just deludes all human beings. Sarvadehinam. Interesting. Sarvadehinam deludes all human beings. Okay. Which has where you allow tamas to overpower. Tamas is there in every human being. Okay. All of us have tamas. And that tamas is what makes us open our eyes and say, I really have to sleep for a few more. I can't. This is too much. This 6:15 class is already 6:30 is painful. And now 6:15 also. 15 minutes earlier? My God. It's like a shock, because and so that's tamas. That's tamas. That is not your fault. It's tamas. And so uh, delusion, lack of priorities, basic things. We need a little bit of, we need to earn some money in order to have a happy family. All these ideas also is difficult for this guy to get. And so person is eternally in conflict. Eternally in conflict. Because even in home itself, wife will not agree to all this. He is very responsible and this guy is lazing around. And you see a lot of that in our own country. And I suppose every country will have such people. And so, mohanatmakam means what? Its nature is just give confusion. It just confuses. In every area, there is confusion, not just one area, every area. And sarvadehinam, mohanam. And so that line talks about the lakshana of the guna, right? We said, what are the two things? Lakshanam, characteristic, and then bandhakam, bandhakaranam. What it is also binding. It's binding because what? Pramada alasya nidrabhihi. Pramada alasya nidrabhihi. Pramada is an important word for us. Just to just to lead a sane life, it's very important to understand that hey, the time has to be used properly. As a human being, can't just ignore, be indifferent. This indifference, it's a great tragedy in one's life. That indifference is pramada. Indifference to things, indifference to suffering, indifference to things that are going on. Corona is there, you got to wear your mask, this, that, all these instructions they're getting. Total indifference. And the total indifference is called pramada. Okay? Negligence, carelessness. That is pramada. And Shankaracharya writes 4-5 shlokas in Viveka Chudamani. If you want to look up later, you look up. And first 4-5 shlokas, he talks about the value, importance of Nara Janma. Human life, that's all is the first 4-5 shlokas only talks about. Durlabam trayame vaitat devanugraha hetukam manusyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayaha. Manushyatvam is durlabam, impossible to get. That's it. That's what he says. And other things also. Mumukshutvam on top of that, and then Guru Prapti. And he says, I think shloka number 2, Jantuna Nara Janma Durlabham. Like that he says. And on top of that, Pumsvam Tato Viprata, some intelligence, some basic Viveka also. That is even more difficult. Tasmat Vaidika Dharma. Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. Vaidika Dharmam is even more rare, even rarer. If I can use the word rarer. Why Vaidika Dharma is rarer? So many dharmas are there. What is great about Vaidika Dharma? A, the Vaidika Dharma is equal to many other dharmas, many other religions in many ways. Okay. They are also sending people to heaven. We are also sending people to heaven. Identical only. Just different names, different gods. But there is one thing that is very different, non-existent. And that non-existent thing is this Advaita Drishti. Advaita Drishti irundathinala, because this Advaita Drishti is there, that hey, you are already free. That's it. You don't have to go anywhere. Just being where you are, you're free. This is only Dharma that talks about it. Therefore, Vaidika Dharma. And because of that vision, every other vision which is talking about their own personal God, the greatest God, etc., you know what? They don't fight with each other. Do you know why they don't fight with each other? This Advaita is what prevents them from fighting. This is just my view. Okay, my view. Just make a note. Krishna is not saying that. I thought about this. All religions are pitted against each other. They're all vying for marketing, share, they're all vying for their share. Only this Hindu Dharma is just sitting, it is not interested in getting a greater share. Do you know why? Because of this Advaita Drishti. It is the brakes. It is what puts the brakes on an otherwise proselytizing nature. That is, this is my view. Okay, think about it. And so, therefore, Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata, he says, Shankaracharya, in Viveka Chudamani, okay? And then Vidvatvam, etc. And he continues, Ladva Katanchit Narajanma Durlabam Tatra Pipumstvam Shruti Para Darshanam. He keeps saying this. He keeps saying this. And then he is referring to that person, Yaha Swatma Bhuktyai na Yateta, one who does not work for his own freedom in this life without postponing it for a later life. Okay, that fellow is a Mudadhi. He's foolish. And Taha Atmaha, he is the one who commits suicide, he says. Atmaha, he uses a strong word. Where did we see the word Atmaha?
आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः
No. Atmaha means Atmanam Hanti, one who kills the Atma.
Kathopanishad.
Okay, where in Kathopanishad?
Exactly, place it.
Okay, I'll give you a clue. In the last chapter, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. All right.
Nayam hanti na hanyate.
That's not in the previous chapter. No, Nayam hanti and anyate doesn't refer to this. It refers to, the Atma being indestructible, etc. But this guy comes in different context. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyat swavinashyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam
Samavasthitam Ishwaram, na hinasyat atmanam, tado yadi parangari. 1329.
यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात्
wait. No, wait. Just 1 minute. Nahinasthyatmanatmanam. What does he say there, Krishna? Nahinasti. That person doesn't kill himself. Atmana, Atmanam. He's not talking about killing somebody else, committing murder. Suicide, self-murder. He doesn't commit murder. Means what are the other people doing? What is the implication? Other people are killing themselves. That Atmaha, he says. Okay. What is the other one, Lakshmi ji?
यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात् आकाशं नोपलिप्यते सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे तथात्मा नोपलिप्यते.
Illa, lipyate. Upalipyate.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. Atma is unaffected. Yeah. Here it's different. Okay. So Saha Atmaha, he says in the 4th shloka of Viveka Chudamani. And 5th shloka, he continues. Itah ko, just listen. Itah ko anvasti modhatma yastu swarte pramadyati durlabam manusham deham prapya tatrapi paurusham. He says, can there be a greater fool than this person? Like that, he's asking a question. Itah ko anvasti modhatma. Who doesn't realize that he is free. That's it. He's a chance. He's getting one chance to say that. Like that, he's talking about. This is called pramada. So in Advaita Vedanta, pramada refers to this idea. Even though we can talk about general laukika, indifference, carelessness, and lack of attention to detail, all these things we can talk about. But here it refers to that pramada, that tamoguna results in pramada, right? Pramada is the way it binds the person. Okay. So it's going to be difficult, right? If a person has to recognize somehow that I'm wasting my time, somehow has to recognize that, you know what, I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing. The minute the guy recognizes that, then after that, all the rest of details, right? Then pramada, then next alasya. Sanskrit students should be a bit careful, should not get over enthusiastic. They should not say things like, oh, ala pratipadikam, and then shashti, prathama, shashti vibhakti, ekavachana mandal. You should not say. If you say that, sorry, one of your students will say, sorry, ma'am, that's not correct. Because alasya itself is a word. Anyway, alasyam, I think that is napumsakam. Okay, we know this. Hindi maybe prior that word is there. Alasya means this laziness, idling away, lethargy.
Alas, they say.
Huh?
आलस है वो, आलस आदमी है.
Huh?
वो आलस आदमी है.
अच्छा आलस्य आदमी है. अच्छा
आलस आलस.
आलस्य. अच्छा आलस. Okay. Alas. So that is same thing. So indolence, slothfulness. They use the word slothfulness sometimes. Slothfulness. You know why they say slothfulness? This sloth bear, you've heard of the word sloth bear, of course. It seems it is the slowest mammal on earth. Slowest means slowest. That's it. No argument. You might say tortoise, turtle, and all. No. You go Google up and see sloth bear if you have not seen it. It's absolutely amazing. It is giving birth to babies hanging on the tree, keeping quiet. That's how slow it is. He's not worried about giving birth. Then babies kuch aa raha hai, nothing, no tension, nothing. So it seems it takes 2 weeks for this bear to digest one meal of leaves. It's eating leaves, okay? And so it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, so nidra bihi, sleepy. This sleepiness is there, and sleep comes free. You don't need anybody's help to sleep, do you? For everything else, we need help, but for sleep, we don't need any help. So this guy is just going to sleep all the time. And if you visit him, you think he's, oh, sorry to disturb you from your dhyanam. You think he's doing some dhyanam and all. No, dhyanam and all, no chance. And so Swamiji says, don't prescribe dhyanam to this guy. If by chance you get talking about all this yoga and all, because he's already in dhyana. So, tan nibhadnanti or tan nibhadnati bharata. These things, he is just bound by these. Because there's no chance of this guy to escape this kind of a lifestyle, this kind of a state can't escape. And that's why, that's why we are concerned, when this government gives liquor, sells liquor all over in this state, that's how bad it is. We are concerned because already we are a bit confused. On top of that, you just supply this liquor and then confuse people. It's just wrong, very, very wrong. So, tan nibadnati bharat. I think you get the idea.
And push them to tamas with
Push
effect
them
of liquor.
further tamas, already tamas, and further tamasify, So, nibadnati, will he get any punyam or papa? If you ask, no activity, no punyam will be generated. By not doing certain things that he's supposed to do, he will get papam, no doubt. Punyam, I really doubt how anybody like this can get punyam. And so, at least a buffalo is better because a buffalo has no karma. And therefore, it will not generate any new punyam, new papam. This guy will not generate any new punyam, but will generate a lot of papam. So worse than buffalo also, animals also. Anyway, let's translate the shloka. Understand tamas to be born of ajnanam. And to be the deluder of all beings. Understand tamas to be born of ajnana and to be the deluder of all beings. Okay. Full stop. It binds by causing negligence, causing in brackets, by causing negligence, slothfulness, and sleep. Arjuna. It binds by causing negligence, slothfulness, and sleep. Any word you can use, all synonyms, slothfulness, indolence, etc. Okay, let's see it again. Understand tamas to be born of ajnana and to be the deluder of all beings. Full stop. It binds within brackets the person by causing negligence, indolence, and sleep. Oh, Arjuna. Okay, ninth shloka. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati
Sattvam sukhe sanjayati
rajah karmani bharata
लज्जः कर्मणि भारत
ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः
ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः
प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत
प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत
सत्तं सुखे सञ्जयति
सत्वं सुखे सञ्जयति
रजः कर्मणि भारत
रजः कर्मणि भारत
ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः
ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः
प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत.
प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत.
Yeah. So he is now stating all three gunas in the shloka, their nature. And he says, all these bind. All these binding, the word is not there, but they bind in their own way. Satvam sukhe sanjayati. So here, sanjayati. Sanjayati is the word. When I take back what I said, binding is that. Sanjayati means what? Binds, sangha. The word sangha comes from sanj. Okay. And so, sanjita. So, sanjayati. Sukhe sanjayati. So, sukha, we should not take sukha here as just sukha that everybody wants, happiness. You can't say it like that. Why? Because the word, Krishna is using the word, sukhe is using only for sattva. And for other things, he is using other words. Therefore, we can't translate or interpret the word sukha as general happiness that anybody wants. Okay, of course, the lazy guy also wants to be happy. And so by just doing nothing. And so this sukha is, as we said earlier, just calmness, ability to think, a desire to think, process, understand, contribute through that process. And always they will ask, why, what? Why is it like that? Why is it, that answer has to be there. Otherwise, the guy will not fully, his mind is fully not there yet. Okay? So that's tranquility, silence, and ability to cognize, cognition. So that person also, sukhe sanjayati, sattva sukhe sanjayati, attached to these kinds of things. The person wants calmness. The person wants understand. So if he can't understand something, he'll be perturbed. Perturbed because I can't understand something. And yeah, we will also get like that. So some words and all, if I don't understand, I'll just keep on looking up this one, that one. What did he say? What did they say? Everything. Because that thing has to. What did Shankara mean by that word? That's it. You have to understand. Simply looking up the dictionary and all, not enough. Then you have to put the word in the sentence and then make sure, is this what he's saying? Did he say something like this before? And all these things we have to think through. And so it does that. It's a good form of bondage, but it's also bondage, he says, right? And so that all the Guru Shastram, everything is there. Somebody can ask the question. This is a very popular question in our satsangs, and the question is: you are seeking jnanam through Shastram. You're seeking. So is that also not one type of seeking? Until now I never sought anything. I didn't know what Shastram was. I was just a seeker. I was just another samsari. But now I'm seeking knowledge from the Shastram also. Then I'm becoming double samsari now. Because now I have one more desire is there in my list. I must study Bhagavad Gita, at least one shloka a week. All this list is bigger now. I'm a bigger samsari now. Yeah. So, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because you have to spend a little extra time. You have to reprioritize. It will create more conflict. Oh, I'm missing a class today. Really, that's additional conflict, obviously. But then no, because it's going to eventually remove conflicts. And so it's eventually going to say very bold statements, so bold. We depend on our Guru so much for all this. Okay? Really, we depend. We come to depend on our Guru, our Swamiji, for so many things. Even simple things we end up depending on Swamiji. Swamiji, what do you do in this situation? So we all have done that. We do that all the time, Swamiji. And so because they don't have any agenda whatsoever, so we're willing to share everything about us with our Guru and with Swamiji. And then what happens? There is a bondage there. Not for the Guru, but Shishya becomes dependent. And Shastram will say, Na Gurur Naiva Shishya. He will come and say. And so that's why Krishna is knocking on the door, everybody's door. He suddenly decided to visit your locality. And then he's knocking on the doors and checking things out. How are things? How are you? I just wanted to say hello to you. And everybody is happy and everybody is so delighted and they're having a good time with Krishna. And they're all now he ends up coming to somebody who is a Krita Krityaha. Okay, who's a Krita Krityaha means who is a jnani. Knocks on the door. And then I've come. What help do you need with Bhagavad Gita? I can clarify. I'm very good at within a few words, I can really. What will he say? What will the jnani say? Please tell me. You just have to imagine this. Okay, first sit down. First, do you want to have coffee, tea? What would you like first? Let's first talk. We'll worry about Bhagavad Gita later. And then the guy will say, the Guru Naiva Shishyaha Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. And then Krishna will say, oh my God, this guy is somewhere else. I thought, okay, sorry about that. That's what Krishna can say. What else can do Krishna do? Okay, all right, at least I'll go to the neighbor's house. If you don't need me, somebody else needs me. So, therefore, that Sukham, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjay. So that also, that dependence on a Guru also one can include as a type of bondage. Okay, that's the power of this Advaita Shastra. And so, what about Rajaha? Karmani Bharata. Karmani Sanjayati. Addicts. Karmani Badhnat. Addicts to karma. The active person needs to do something. Otherwise, they're not comfortable at all. Jnanam avritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayati uta. Sanjayati uta. That's the way to split that word. Jnanam avritya. Avritya. Covering knowledge. Covering knowledge means what? Where is knowledge? Is it inside the head or outside the head?
Inside.
Inside only. Okay.
The
But
mind.
before I know something, is knowledge there inside the head or outside the head? Anyway, we spent some time talking about this, right? And
It
the
is both
answer.
inside and outside too. Inside buddhi should be there to analyze outside things.
So yeah, jnanam is there always. It is always covered. Our view of knowledge is what? Jnanam, everybody has jnanam. But it's not manifest. I think I'm as good as ignorant. I'm ignorant. And so that ignorance, according to us, Dvaita Vedanta is exactly like in Guru Stotra, right? What is it? Kandamandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena ajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya. Guru doesn't give us knowledge. Right there in the shloka it says, hey, just the cataract, like the cataract is removed from the eyes. You already have eyes. You have eyesight also. They don't have to do anything. They just have to remove the cataract. And then suddenly eyesight is there. That's it. That's the vision here. And so jnanam avritya, covered, that cloud of ignorance is covering the knowledge. Tamaha. On the other hand, tama covers this knowledge, and therefore pramade sanjayati uta. Indeed, it makes that person it's given to these tragic symptoms of slothfulness and lethargy and so forth. And so that person, no company will be happy hiring such a person. Not possible, because you have to be behind that person always. You have to be behind that person. Everything what was told to him also he will forget. Didn't I tell you this yesterday? Oh yes, sir, you told. Every day you have to tell him this. And so pramade sanjayati. So he's just summarizing that, the previous three shlokas in the shloka number 9. Okay.
Jaykumar,
Uh,
what is the Pramade? Is it Saptami Ekavachana?
correct. Pramade sanjayati. It binds by making him remain in pramad.
Okay.
That's the way to look at it.
Okay, thank you.
It's like a frog is there in the well. And so because of that, the frog is bound.
And uta means
Uta means indeed. Uta has many meanings based on context. So here, uh, let's see. What is Paramarthanandaji does not give a meaning. Dayanandaji says indeed. Indeed. So Uta means we can take it as indeed. All right. So,
Space filler.
No. See, space. See, Ramuji, we can't keep judging Krishna and all like that. Yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that. It's not fair to do that. That's all I'm saying. It's not fair to do that. Because we don't know enough about these things, and with that, it comes naturally. And so, all right, Sattva binds. Translating now, Sattva binds one to pleasure. Pleasure in quotes you can put. Sattva based happiness, right? Happiness is a better word, I think. Sattva binds one to pure happiness, if you want to use that word also is fine.
Contentment.
Contentment, I'm not sure, because I don't know. You think about it. Yeah. Anyway, Sattva binds one to happiness. Rajas binds one to action. Whereas, okay, Sattva binds one to happiness. Rajas binds one to action. Semicolon. Whereas, the two is whereas tamas binds the person or binds one to negligence by covering Paramarthanandaji says discerning power. Viveka, by covering Viveka, he says, Swamiji Dayanandaji says knowledge. Both are okay. By covering knowledge. O Arjuna. Whereas tamas binds one to negligence by covering or veiling, Veiling. Veil is also a good word, because veil itself means, it's a cover. By veiling the Prevailing knowledge, O Arjuna. Let's read that again. Sattva binds one to pleasure, Rajas binds one to action, semicolon, whereas Tamas binds one to negligence by veiling the discerning power or knowledge, O Arjuna. 10th shloka. रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय
सत्त्वं भवति भारत
सत्त्वं भवति भारत
रजसत्त्वं तमश्चैव
रजस्तत्सत्त्वं तमश्चैव
तमःसत्त्वं रजस्तथा
तमःसत्त्वं रजस्तथा
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय
सत्त्वं भवति भारत
सत्त्वं भवति भारत
रजसत्त्वं तमश्चैव
रजस्तत्सत्त्वं तमश्चैव
तमःसत्त्वं रजस्तथा
तमःसत्त्वं रजस्तथा.
Very interesting shloka. It looks like he's playing a game here. Rajas, Tamas, Sattvam. 3 words he's using and just ordering it differently in different places. Rajaha, Tamaha, Sattvam. Rajaha, Sattvam, Tamaha. Tamaha, Sattvam, Rajaha. Like that is. So you may be able to guess what this is. All right. So this is again a description of how the gunas work, and also how the gunas, each guna is dependent on the other gunas for its function. Means what? Hey, sattvam is sattvam, but if tamas, the quantity of tamas goes up, then sattvam is going to be suppressed. Sattvam is there. All of us have sattvam, tamas, and rajas. All 3 are there. But proportion changes, right? And so that's what Krishna is acknowledging here. And he's saying sattvam, predominance of sattvam only, he says. He never says sattvam is present, tamas is absent, rajas is absent. No, he can't say that. That's not possible at all. That's what he's saying here. So he's saying, even though we are all a mixture of sattva, rajas, and tamas, this combination is not fixed. Not fixed. Neither it is the same in all people, nor even in the same person is it fixed throughout life, nor even in a given day it can be fixed. This we know. That is the message you're going to get from this. Okay. So, Pralaya Kale, when the Shishti is not there, it's all unmanifest, like the tree is unmanifest in the sea. During that time, and really there's no activity visible at all. And that time also, gunas are there or not? Gunas have to be there. Prakriti is very much there. Anadi. Prakriti is Anadi, right? And so she is very much there. And so at that time, it's an equilibrium. And Sankhya say that Tamya Avastha Pralayaha, like that they talk about, and we borrow the idea from Sankhya. And yeah, we like that idea. We will borrow that idea from you. And then, of course, then they talk about some disturbance happens. Some disturbance happens. And some disturbance also, how is it caused? Why should it get disturbed? The equilibrium get disturbed? That is because of karma. Karma, because Anadi is there, karma is waiting to come. And so there is a time when the pralaya has to be the normal, has to happen. And there is a time when pralaya also has to end and then Srishti has to begin. All because of all Jiva's karmas operating. Okay. And so that's how Srishti starts, they say. So from that state of equilibrium of the three gunas, then Srishti happens. Okay. And then okay, then let's talk about this tamah pradhana. Inert objects are there, the wall is there, the building is there, so many inert objects are non-living beings. Okay, non-living beings are there. Do they have three gunas? Yeah, good question. Very good question. And so tamah pradhana, they never say if sattvam is zero or not. Sattvam can't be zero. Do you know why? Why sattvam is not zero? Because if you say the wall is useful to you, yeah, the wall is useful. Why? Because it's holding the entire building. It's holding the entire building. It's useful. We have to do namaskar to the wall. When there is an earthquake and the building stays put, then we have to do like this to our houses. Look at what's happening in Tamil Nadu. The entire southern Tamil Nadu is underwater. So sad it is. And so, so that therefore sattva has to be there. Only then it is useful. And usefulness I mean, tamas also is useful, but tamah pradhana, and no karma. They can't just move. They won't move. Fortunately, your house doesn't move, and so whenever you leave, you can leave home, but the house will not leave, and so that's a good thing. And that's why people, when they leave India for several months, in Mumbai, for example, or they leave, they come back. They come back, home is still there. They're happy. They unlock the door, everything is there exactly there. No, the spiders and all, they do their work. That is different. You can't stop them. But the house is very much there. But Mumbai and all, this guarantee won't be there. I'm told that in Mumbai, you can come back, the home is there, but you may not be able to call it your home because ownership can change. Sometimes they say that it's a bit, there's a risk you have to do. आप कौन है? The renter who used to be a renter before you left will ask, आप कौन है? अच्छा, ये घर आपका है? How did that happen? And you are asking, how did this become your house? He's asking, when was it your house? So like that, this dialogue will happen. But anyway, but the house is still there. Plants are there. Plants have definitely sattvam. Rajas, ability to grow and all this is there. Rajas is there. Tamas is also less than all non-living beings, but tamas is there. Rajas, they can't move around. They are called what? They are called stavaras. They can't move. So that kind of rajas is not needed at all for the plants. And but still overwhelmed by tamas. Programmed, overwhelmed by tamas. Animals a little more. Jangamam they are called. They are moving. They can move about. They can move even more than human beings. And so for them, there is quite a bit of rajas. But still tamas become, because ability to think is highly inhibited. Only a little bit of thinking, enough to keep them surviving is there. And so there also you can say tamas and rajas is there. Sattvam is very little, very little. And human beings is where the whole chemistry changes, the whole dynamics changes completely. And sattvam ability, it can go up very high. Sattvam can become very high. That capacity the human being is given. And that's what parents try to do to their children when they send them to school and all that. Just get better at it. Get better. You have to know. You have to learn to think. You have to learn to ask questions. You have to not accept things exactly whatever it is. And that's why you have to study. You have to study like that. We try to build the sattvam in the person. And so, Let's see, it's 7:15 here. Okay. All right. So we'll continue this discussion. Rajas tamascha abhibhuya. Abhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharat. He's going to say abhibhuya means what? Sattvam. When we say sattvam is predominant, sattvam is overpowering. It overpowers rajas and tamas. It suppresses rajas and tamas. It dominates over rajas and tamas. Like that. Like that is going to say. We'll continue that discussion in the next class and conclude this shloka. All right. So we'll pray today also. We'll chant the three times the shloka Rama. And while we chant, you think of the people. Let us think of Apadam Apartaram, we say. So there's Apad right now in many parts of the world and including Tamil Nadu. And so let's keep those people in mind and let's pray that rainwaters recede fast and let the people who have suffered immediately come out of the suffering. That's our prayer. And Srinivasanji is already started Seva activities there, working with the organization called Seva Bharati. We've released some funds, Arsha Seva Kendra, and we may release even more funds depending on how much opportunity is there. So we're doing all that. So let's pray for everybody. Om Apadamapahārtāram Dātāram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Apadamapahārtāram Dātāram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Apadamapahārtāram Dātāram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.